Welcome to our little corner of the internet, where we dig into the kind of wisdom that only comes with a few gray hairs and a lot of life lived. Today, we're talking about something that's been on my mind lately: marriage. Not the shiny, just married version you see in movies, but the real, messy, beautiful thing that unfolds over years. I'm calling this video the best marriage advice I've ever received because, well, I've been around long enough to hear some good stuff, and I want to pass it along to you. Marriage isn't a straight line. It's more like a winding river, sometimes calm, sometimes wild, always moving. And over the decades, I've picked up 5 pieces of advice that stand out as pure gold. These aren't quick fixes or trendy hacks. They're lessons carved from experience, the kind that can carry you through the highs and lows. Whether you're just starting out, celebrating decades together, or even wondering if marriage is worth the fuss, this video is for you. We'll walk through 5 bits of wisdom that have shaped the strongest marriages I've seen, including my own, with all its stumbles and triumphs. So, pour yourself a tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Oh, and if you like what you hear, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We've got more where this came from. Ready? Let's begin. 1. Master the quiet art of listening. Have you ever watched a couple who've been married forever and wondered how they make it look so easy? Here's a secret I learned from a wise old friend. It starts with listening. Really listening. Not just waiting for your turn to talk. In my younger days, I thought communication in marriage meant saying what's on your mind. But I've since learned it's more about what you don't say and how you hear what's being said. Take my neighbors, Ed and Clara, married 55 years. I once asked Ed how they'd made it so long without strangling each other. He chuckled and said, "I learned to shut my mouth and open my ears." Here's the story. Early on, Clara would come home from work frustrated, unloading about her day. Ed's instinct was to fix it, offer solutions, tell her what she should have done. But one day she stopped him mid-sentence and said, "I don't need you to solve this. I just need you to listen." It clicked for him. From then on, he'd sit there nodding, asking a quiet question now and then, letting her spill it all out. Over time, Clara said that's when she felt truly seen, and their marriage deepened. Listening isn't passive, it's an art. It means putting your own thoughts on hold, resisting the urge to interrupt with your brilliant comeback. It's hearing the feelings behind the words, not just the words themselves. Why does this matter? Because when your partner feels heard, they feel loved. And when they feel loved, trust grows. Here's how to do it. Next time your spouse starts talking about a tough day, a worry, anything, don't jump in. Look them in the eye, nod, maybe say, "Tell me more." If they're upset, don't defend yourself right away. Let them finish. You'd be amazed how often they'll soften just because you gave them space. I tried this myself years ago. My wife was fuming about something I'd forgotten. Again. Instead of arguing back, I bit my tongue and listened. She vented, then paused and said, "You're not fighting me on this?" I said, "No, I just want to understand." We talked it out calmly after that, and it was a turning point. Listening builds a bridge. It says, "You matter more than my need to be right." And in a marriage, that's a foundation you can stand on for decades. 2. Find joy in the ordinary. Marriage isn't all grand gestures and anniversary trips, though those are nice. The real magic happens in the everyday, the small moments most folks overlook. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from my Aunt Ruth. Find joy in the ordinary, or you'll miss the best parts. She and Uncle Jim were married 62 years, and they weren't rich or fancy, but they had this glow about them. I once caught them laughing hysterically in their kitchen over a lopsided cake Jim had tried to bake. It wasn't the cake that mattered, it was the shared silliness, the way they turned a flop into a memory. Ruth told me that after the kids left home, she and Jim started noticing the little things again. The way the sun hit the porch in the morning, the sound of the radio crackling through an old song, even the ritual of making coffee together. They didn't need big plans. They found richness in what was already there. In a world obsessed with excitement, this might sound dull, but it's not. It's about seeing your partner and your life with fresh eyes. Maybe it's the way they hum off key while doing dishes, or how they always leave one sock unpaired. These quirks become treasures when you choose to love them. Try this. Next time you're with your spouse doing something routine, like grocery shopping or folding laundry, pause. Look for one thing that makes you smile. Maybe it's their terrible puns, or the way they stack the cans just so. Tell them, I love that about you. Watch their face light up. I started doing this with my wife. One rainy afternoon, we were stuck inside, and she was knitting badly, yarn everywhere. I said, you're a mess and I wouldn't trade it. She laughed, and we spent the next hour joking about her masterpiece. It wasn't a big moment, but it was ours. The ordinary is where love lives longest. Don't wait for fireworks. Find the spark in what's right in front of you. 3. Bend. Don't break. Life throws curveballs, and marriage takes the hit right alongside you. Jobs change. Kids grow up. Health falters. The third piece of advice I hold dear came from a retired pastor I met at a diner. Bend, don't break. In a marriage, flexibility is your superpower. He told me about his own marriage to Ellen. They'd planned to retire and travel RV across the country, the works. But then Ellen got sick, and those dreams went out the window. Instead of resenting it, they adapted. They turned their backyard into a little oasis. Flowers, a bench, a bird feeder. He said, we didn't get the road trip, but we got something better. Time together, reimagined. That's the key. Bending to life's changes instead of snapping under them. Couples who dig in their heels, insisting things stay the same, often crack. But those who flex, who say, okay, this isn't what we planned, but let's make it work, they endure. Think about it. Maybe you married someone who loved dancing, but now their knees won't cooperate. Do you mourn this past or find a new rhythm, like slow swaying to music in the living room? Maybe money's tight, so instead of fancy dates, you cook together and talk. My wife and I hit this wall when I lost my job years back. We'd always dreamed of a big house, but suddenly we were downsizing. I was bitter at first, but she said, let's make this ours. We painted the walls, planted a garden, turned a tiny space into home. It wasn't the dream, but it became our dream. Here's a trick. When change hits, sit down together and ask, what can we still do? What's possible now? Focus on what you can control. You'll find strength in adapting as a team. Bending doesn't mean giving up, it means growing. And a marriage that can stretch with life seasons is one that lasts. 4. Keep your own fire burning. Here's a piece of advice that surprised me when I first heard it. Don't lose yourself in the marriage. It came from my old boss, George, who'd been married to Marie for 45 years. He said, "We're a team, but I'm still me, and she's still her." At first, I thought marriage was all about merging. Two become one, right? But George showed me it's more like two flames burning side by side, close but distinct. He loved fishing. Marie couldn't stand it. She was into book clubs. He'd rather nap. They didn't force each other to join in. They cheered from the sidelines. One summer, George went on a week-long fishing trip alone. Marie stayed home, hosted her book group, and when he got back, they swapped stories over dinner. He said, "That time apart made me miss her and love her more." This isn't about distance, it's about keeping your own fire alive. When you nurture your own interests, you bring energy back to the marriage. You're not just a spouse, you're a person with passions, quirks, a spark, and that keeps things fresh. I saw this play out with my wife. She's a gardener, I'm not. For years I'd tag along pretending to care about mulch. Then I stopped. I picked up woodworking instead. Now she shows me her roses, I show her my lopsided shelves, and we've got more to talk about than ever. Try it. Pick something you love, golf, painting, whatever, and dive in. Don't guilt your partner into joining. Let them do their thing too. Then come back and share. You'll be amazed how it rekindles the curiosity you had when you first met. A marriage thrives when both people shine. Keep your fire burning and you'll light each other up. 5. Choose patience over perfection. The last piece of advice is one I wish I'd learned sooner. Choose patience over perfection. It came from my grandmother, who was married to Grandpa for 67 years. She said, "He drove me up the wall, but I decided he was worth waiting for." Grandpa was a tinkerer, always fixing something, usually breaking it first. Grandma wanted things neat, done right. Early on she'd nag, he'd grumble, and they'd stew. Then she shifted. She'd watch him wrestle with a leaky faucet, smile and say, "You'll get it eventually." And he did, mostly. Patience isn't about tolerating flaws. It's about loving through them. Nobody's perfect, especially not after 20, 30, 50 years together. You'll forget anniversaries, burn dinners, snore too loud. Chasing perfection just breeds frustration. Patience says, "I see you messing all and I'm staying." I tested this when my wife started redecorating, endlessly. Paint swatches everywhere, furniture moved daily. I wanted it done. But I remembered Grandma's words. I took a breath, helped when she asked, let her figure it out. When it was over, she hugged me and said, "Thanks for not losing it." That patience saved us a fight and built trust. Here's how. When your partner's driving you nuts, pause, ask, "Is this worth a battle or can I wait it out?" 9 times out of 10, it's not worth it. Let them be human. You'll get your turn too. Patience turns irritations into stories you'll laugh about later. It's the glue that holds love together when perfection falls apart. There you go. 5 pieces of marriage advice straight from the heart of experience. Let's run them back. Master the quiet art of listening to truly connect. Find joy in the ordinary to keep love alive every day. Bend, don't break. To weather life's changes together, keep your own fire burning to bring vitality to the partnership. Choose patience over perfection to love through the flaws. Marriage isn't about getting it right every time. It's about showing up, learning, and choosing each other again and again. If any of this struck a chord, give it a try. Start with one thing. Listen a little longer, smile at the small stuff, and see where it takes you. Thanks for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and tap that bell. We've got more wisdom to share. Here's to marriages that don't just last, but grow richer with every year. See you next time.